today we're going to be doing a really gorgeous festive smoky eye. So you can see I've actually already got my base on, and I've actually used the All Hours collection from Ysl Beauty, because that is literally going to take you from dusk to dawn. Like, it doesn't move, it's completely party proof. So I've gone All Hours with my base, and then I have filled in my brows with the Couture brow marker as well, which is great for getting like really nice fluffy but still defined brows. So we're going to jump straight into the eye, and the eye that I'm going to be doing is something called a spotlight eye, which is really on trend at the moment. You can literally see it all over Instagram, and it's actually surprisingly easy to do as well. It's basically a smoky eye with a little sort of almost like orb of light or shimmer in the center of your lid. So the first thing that I always like to do when it comes to doing eyes is I like to start with my blusher or my favorite bronzer. Whatever I've used on my face that day, I like to start by using that through the crease of my eye. The reason why we do this, especially if you're using, like I'm going to be using plums today, it really helps to tie your eyes into the rest of your face. So I'm literally just going to pick up a bit of that blush on a fluffy blending brush, and honestly, girls and guys, this is your best friend when you're doing eye makeup. It literally just works wonders. You don't need any other brush. Yeah.
Sarah, what's the best full coverage concealer?
Full coverage concealer, again, All Hours range. The All Hours range is a 24-hour matte full coverage. The concealer's a full coverage, the foundation's full coverage, and the primer is amazing as well. If you do want extra coverage for blemishes, anything like that, the primer is really going to make sure that it stays in place. So definitely All Hours concealer over something, for example, like the Touche Eclat, which is a little bit lighter. So I definitely recommend that one. So guys, fluffy brush with that blusher, I'm just going to start popping that in my crease. Now when I give people tips on how to blend eyeshadow when you're self-applying, what I would always say is never close your eye, because when you close your eye, the shape of your eye actually completely changes. And what looks good when your eye is closed actually looks completely different when it's open. So I would always just say keep your eyes open. You can look down into a mirror if you've got a slightly more hooded eye, but looking straight into a mirror, take that brush into your crease.
Lots of people asking which brush are you using?
So this is the YSL Fluffy Crease Brush. It's called the Crease Brush. It's actually quite a big brush as well, so you can actually cover a lot of skin on your eye with it. You can cover a lot of area. And actually, the bigger the brush, the less product you pick up. So if you are someone who can tend to be a little bit more heavy-handed with your makeup as well, this is a really great option. So going for the other eye as well. Just blending that blusher shade through my crease. And that actually gives you a perfect guideline. Now for just an everyday look, if you're just going to the desk and not to the dance floor, you can just apply a little bit of mascara with this, and it's actually a really pretty look for every day. But of course, we're with Feelunique, so we're going to amp it up a level. And now I'm going to go into my smoky colours. So I've got the gorgeous 10 colour variation palette here. This one is in the shade Paris by YSL, absolutely gorgeous. It's got all these kind of like plummy, mauvey tones in it. And the tone that I'm going to go for is this last one on the end here, which is like a gorgeous matte plum. Now personally, when I'm using dark smoky shades, I always like to stick to more of a matte finish rather than a shimmer, just because they're easier to work with and blend out, and dark colours are a little bit harder to play with anyway. So for this, I'm just going to take a normal kind of like flat eyeshadow brush, and I'm literally just going to pick up a little bit of that dark plum shade, and I'm just going to start, and this doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to blend it out afterwards. I'm just going to start by literally applying that dark shade to the outer corner of my eyes.
A question from Sarah. Do you have any tips for hooded eyes?
For a hooded eye, my top tip is to either go for more of a cut crease kind of like style of eye, so that's when the inner corner is much lighter than the outer corner, and that's a great tip. But if you're not super skilled at makeup, honestly, the best advice that I can give is to keep the eyeshadow lighter on top of the eye and take it much more smoky underneath, because you'll know if you have got a hooded eyelid that when you open your eyes, all the eye makeup disappears, whereas if you smoke up your lower lash line, you're going to see it all day long, whether your eyes are open or closed. It's my top tip. And now I'm just taking the same fluffy brush as I used before, but this time I'm using a clean one, and I'm just going to work in circular motions along that sort of dark plum colour.
Paulina has a question.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for someone who's never done a smoky eye before?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you've never done a smoky eye before, I would always say that never go straight in with black. I feel like a lot of people, I'm just going to build on the colour, I feel like a lot of people instantly associate a smoky eye with black, and it really doesn't have to be black. Start with something a little bit lighter first. And my top tip is, which is exactly what I'm doing now actually, take it little by little. Don't try and get all of your dark colour on your lid at once, because then what happens is when you come to blending it out, there's nowhere for it to go. So start little by little, because it's like that saying, it's easier to add than it is to take away. So that would be my top tip. And if you really struggle, you can easily ditch the eyeshadow as well and just go for an eyeliner and blend it out with your finger or with a little brush too. So I've smoked up my outer corner, and I'm going to take exactly the same shade again on a flat brush, and I'm going to pop that on my inner corner. So for those of you who have got a hooded look, a hooded lid, sorry, you can actually keep this area light if you want wider eyes. But for a real party look, it works wonders.
Question from Shireen.
Yeah.
What lip colour would you recommend with a smoky eye? Can you do a bold lip and big eyes?
So this is always like a really interesting topic. I personally don't think there's any rules to makeup. You know when people say if you go heavy on the eyes, you should go neutral on the lips. I break that rule very, very often. It really depends how confident you are as well with makeup. Personally, I don't find a better makeup look than a smoky eye with a dark lip, and that's exactly what I'm doing today. If you're not quite as confident with wearing a lot of makeup, of course you can keep the lip nude, but for me, anything goes. Honestly, it really depends what kind of look you're going for. And I even like to colour clash as well. So I'm a real rule breaker when it comes to makeup. I feel like we're in that age now where no rules apply, and you can definitely see that on Instagram. So you can see I've taken my inner corners nice and smoky as well. You can build that up if you wanted to. If you really wanted to take it super smoky, you could go maybe for a black or something as well. I'm going to leave where it is now, and I'm going to jump straight into doing the spotlight. Now this is the hardest part, what I've already done. But this next step is what makes it look like you spent hours on your eye makeup, and it makes it look like you know exactly what you're doing, and it's really, really simple. So all we're going to do now is take a little bit of concealer, and this is the All Hours concealer, which is the full coverage. I'm going to take the concealer, and I'm going to pop a little bit just on the back of my hand. And then either with your finger, if you haven't got loads of brushes, or if you have got a little flat brush like this, you can pick up a little bit of the concealer with your flat brush. And all we're going to do is we're almost going to erase the eye makeup, which is now in the centre of the eye. So I'm just going to start by just patting that on, and you can use your finger to sort of work it in if you want to. And this is literally going to erase anything in the centre of the eye. And you can see straight away it almost gives you like that bulb of brightness.
We've got a great question from Sharon.
Yeah.
She is asking, how can you cover the creases if you're a more mature woman?
For any creases, it really depends where it is on the face. I gather maybe you're talking about maybe around the eyes, since we're doing eyes. A couple of things, if it is your eye area, primer. A good primer works wonders. If you are concerned about creases, whether it's under the eyes or on the whole face, I would always recommend a primer with a little bit of a silicone base to it, because anything with a little bit of silicone in it is really going to almost work, like my mum calls it a polyfiller. It literally does fill out any like open pores, any fine lines, anything like that, especially underneath the eyes. If it is under eye creasing that you're really suffering with, my biggest tip as well is just set it with a little bit of loose powder, a really, really fine milled loose powder. Something like Ysl Soufflé d'Eclat works really, really well, and that's just going to set everything and stop it from sitting any lines throughout the day. So that's a question I get quite a lot actually, so it was a good one to ask. So now I've sort of like blocked out that area in the centre of my lid. I'm now going to go in for an eyeliner. So I'm not going to go in for a shimmery eyeshadow, because sometimes I can find they fall down my face, and then it gives me so much more work if I've already got my base on. So I'm going to go in for the Ysl Waterproof Eyeliner, and this is in the gold. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can either break it off on the back of your hand and use your finger to put it on, or you can go straight in with it with the pencil, which is what I'm going to do. So just over that area where I put the touche éclat earlier, where I blocked it out with the concealer, I'm literally just going to go over that area with the eyeliner. And that's going to add like a really gorgeous metallic-y finish.
Back to your foundation, Narelle's
Yes.
asking whether it has SPF in it because she's wary of flashback.
It does has SPF in it. It has an SPF 23. To be honest, you'll struggle to find a foundation without SPF in it now. But everything is so advanced these days that you won't get any flashback from it anyway. So it has no flashback in it. Just be careful of how high your SPF goes. If you go for anything above a 30, then you will. Anything below a 30, you'll be absolutely fine. So I'm just going to finish the eye with a little bit of mascara. And I like to work that in a zigzag movement, just to really give my lashes a nice lot of volume. And also on the bottom lashes. And then of course, to finish off the look, we're going to go for that plum lip. So I'm going to go for the matte stain, which is called Tatouage. And again, this does not move. You can drink as many glasses of champagne as you like over Christmas, and it's going to stay perfect all day long.
Question from Hannah.
Yeah.
She's saying that she finds smoky eyes can make her eyes look smaller. Should she be using browns rather than really dark colours to create the look?
Yeah, again, I mean, a darker colour is always going to make your eyes look smaller. So do stick to maybe something a little bit lighter. However, if you keep the inner corner of your eye nice and bright and the outer corner nice and dark, that's instantly going to open your eyes naturally. And always pop a little bit of highlighter just in your tear duct there as well. So we've added the lip. And as you can see, you can definitely wear a dark lip with a darker eye as well. So no rules when it comes to that. So thanks for joining me with Feelunique. I've had a great time, and hopefully you've picked up a nice lot of tips as well. Thank you.